Hello, dear listeners. Let's get started. Jack watched his tee shot sail exactly down the middle of the fairway. He always hit the same shot. It wasn't long, but it was straight down the middle. The other two guys had already teed off, and it was my turn. I set up and took a little practice swing. This was a par 5, pretty long and wide open. I decided to take a rip at it and see what happened. I'm a big guy, and I powerlift 4 days a week. My bench is better than it was in college. I can do reps with 225 pounds that make the steroid freaks at the gym jealous. I had a new driver, one of those graphite composite ones, and I felt pretty good. I hit the sweet spot and Jack's jaw dropped. Jesus Christ, Eric. You hammered that. That's 350 yards if it's an inch. It's farther than that. You get up and down and you've got an eagle. I'd had 2 eagles in my life and I felt pretty good about this one. We started down the fairway and Jack hit his second shot. It still wasn't to my first one. I heard his phone buzzing in his bag. He was a little hard of hearing, so I told him he had a text. He got his phone out and his face went white. "Eric, I've got to go," he said. "What's wrong?" I asked him. "Something back at the office," he said. "Take me back, Eric." "I'm sorry, but I can't tell you about it yet. You can have the rest of the afternoon off after you take me back." Jack was my boss. He also owned Whitman Enterprises. I'd worked there since I graduated from college. They recruited me from the time I was a sophomore, and I was the number 2 guy there. It was a family business. We made pumps, all kinds of pumps designed for specific applications. We had a foundry, a machine shop, and we made them from the blueprint to the finished product. I was the VP of production, and I pretty much ran the place. Jack's daughter Allison was my counterpart in sales. I knew there had been some noise about us being bought out by a Swiss company, and I figured it was about that. I took him back to the office and started home. I was sitting at a traffic light. The street downtown was one of those old cobblestone streets, and there was an elderly lady crossing in front of me. I watched, horrified, as her toe caught on one of the cobblestones and she tripped. She tried to keep her balance, but she was staggering forward now. She dropped her grocery bag, tripped again, and went down. I heard her cry out as her arms hit the street, trying to save herself. I slammed the shifter into park and jumped out, running around the truck and kneeling beside her. She was crying, and I felt awful for her. Her hands were bleeding, and her arm was clearly broken. I gathered her up in my arms. "I'm so sorry," I told her. "I'm going to help you. It's going to be okay. I'll take you to the hospital." "Are you hurt anywhere besides your hands and arm?" "No," she sobbed. "But I think my arm is broken. I dropped my groceries, and I'm afraid my eggs are broken too." "Well, my knees are bleeding too, honey. My arm hurts so bad." She was breaking my heart. I had tears in my own eyes. This sweet little lady didn't deserve this. "I'll get you some more eggs," I told her. "Let me help you get in the truck. I'll take you to the hospital." That made her cry even more. "Thank you, but I can't go to the hospital," she said, her breath coming in gasps. "I don't have any insurance. I can't afford to go to the hospital." I felt like crying now. She was a tiny little woman, probably 70 or so, and you could tell she had been a stunner. She was still very pretty, and I felt really bad for her. I thought about my mother. She had passed away from a stroke 2 years before. If she had fallen like this, I would have wanted someone to take care of her. "I'm taking you to the hospital," I told her. "I'll take care of it. My wife works there, and we'll work something out. You look like someone's mother, and I would want someone to help my mother. I'm taking you now. Let me help you up. I'll get your groceries and we'll go." "Okay. It hurts really bad," she said. "Thank you, young man. I'll never forget this." I got her up and into the front seat of the truck. It was higher than she could comfortably get into, so I lifted her. I gathered up her groceries and put them in the back seat of the truck. On the way to the hospital, she told me her name was Samantha Gross and that she was a widow. It was only about a mile, and I pulled up at the emergency room door. Cindy, my wife, was on shift, and I helped Samantha inside. I took her to the desk, and Kira was working. I told her what was going on and that I would be taking care of any bills. She took Samantha right back to a bed, and Rachel, the RN, cleaned up her hands and knees while we waited for the doctor. They tried to shoo me out, but Samantha wasn't having it. She wanted me to stay, and that was that. I asked her if she wanted to call someone. She said her phone was in her purse, so I went back to the truck and got it. She needed her ID anyway, and when I got back, I gave it to Kira. Samantha got her phone out. It was one of those cheap phones that you buy minutes for. She dialed and then started crying again. "What's wrong, Samantha?" I asked. "I'm out of minutes," she sobbed. "This is just a terrible day. Here, use my phone." I handed her my Android. I had to show her how to use it, and she talked to someone female on the other end. "Cecilia, I fell and hurt myself," she said. "I'm at the hospital. No, a really nice white man is helping me. Please, honey, would you come? Please, don't worry." I wondered where Cindy was. She worked in the emergency room as a physician's assistant and should have been handling this. I poked my head out and saw Rachel. "Where the hell is Cindy?" I asked. "This lady is hurting, and she needs to be attended to." Rachel flushed. "She went to lunch. I called her, and she'll be here any minute." "What do you mean she went to lunch?" "She just got here. She worked 3 to 11. Her lunch hour was at 7 o'clock. Rachel stammered around for a minute and finally just left. What the hell was going on? I went back to Samantha, and she was still crying. I sat down by her and hugged her. "It's okay, Samantha," I told her. "Who did you call?" "My granddaughter," she said. "She's going to college. She just got out of class, and she'll be here after a bit. You can go then. I know you don't want to be here." "Nonsense," I told her. "I'm off work. This isn't going to be such a bad day, Samantha. You made a new friend today. You're going to be fine. Your granddaughter is on the way, and you won't have to do a lick of work for a while because you'll have a cast on your arm." She chuckled and hugged me back. She gave me a kiss on the cheek, and I heard a voice behind us. It was low and husky and sounded like smoke. "Who's your new lover, Grandma?" I looked back and saw a vision framed in the hospital curtain. She was little, brown, and as cute as a newborn kitten. She stepped around to the other side of the bed and kissed Samantha. "I don't know his name," Samantha said. "I've been so flustered I forgot to ask. I think he's the Good Samaritan. He's been taking care of me. I don't know where he came from, but he's a gift from heaven." "My name is Eric Hollister," I told them. "You must be Cecilia." I was sitting in my car at the crosswalk and saw Samantha fall. I couldn't do anything but bring her here, where the doctor should have been by now. I raised my voice. I knew I was being passive-aggressive, but I was starting to get pissed off. I poked my head out of the curtain and saw Rachel avoiding my eyes. "Go get Pierce," I told her. "If someone isn't here to take care of this lady in 5 minutes, I'm going to raise hell at the next board meeting." "Where the hell is Cindy?" "Dr. Pierce went to lunch with her," she said. "Well, that's just freaking great." I was disgusted. "Call Olivia. Your daughter is just an intern, right?" I asked Samantha. "Yes, she can do that," Rachel admitted. "Then page her," I told her. I went back to sit in the chair by Samantha. "My daughter is an intern here. She'll be here in a minute." I thought about Cindy and that creep Pierce being out to lunch together. Well, what the hell was going on? Cindy knew very well I wouldn't like that. I had made that perfectly plain on a couple of occasions. We had been dating about 6 months the first time. I had met Cindy when we were assigned as lab partners in biology. She was drop-dead gorgeous. She was a tall, plush girl with dark hair, fair skin, and the bluest eyes you've ever seen. I invited her for a cup of coffee after the lab, and while we were there, I asked her out and she accepted. We went to dinner and a movie. I know, not the most imaginative date in the world, but I was 19 years old. She kissed me goodnight at the door of her room, and I asked her out again. She had been raised by very religious parents, and I think I was the first guy to ever get his hands on those luscious mounds. Took me 3 months to talk her into my bed, and she never left it. We had been going out for 6 months, and I was coming out of the electronics store with a new video game when I saw her and George Cooper going into Chili's next door. I walked in, and they were sitting together in a booth in the back. He had his arm around her, and she was laughing up into his face. I turned around and went home. I had an apartment across the street from the school, and I just picked her stuff up, put it in a box outside the door, and went to class. I didn't go home for 2 days or talk to her. She called me about a dozen times and sent me a bunch of emails, but I never read them or responded. Twice she was waiting outside class when it was over, but I went back in and told the professor I needed to talk to him in his office. We were talking when we came out the door, and she had no opportunity to say anything. I skipped biology lab. When I got up Saturday morning, she was curled up sleeping in the hall outside the door. I stepped over her and started down the hall. I must have made some sound. I was trying to be stealthy, but she jumped up and ran after me, throwing her arms around me from behind. She spun me around, her eyes blazing. "What the hell is wrong with you, Eric?" she yelled. "Why did you put my stuff out in the hall? Why won't you talk to me? Why are you avoiding me? Have you met someone else?" "No, you have," I told her. "I heard Cooper has an opening. Maybe you should give him a call. I know third-string running backs have busy schedules." "Is that what this is about?" She was incredulous. "You know I went to school with him, right? We dated for a while, but we're just friends now. What did you think, we were lovers?" "I didn't think anything," I told her. "I was coming out of the store and saw you go into Chili's with him. We were just 2 old friends having lunch," she shouted. "What the hell is the matter with you? My girlfriends don't have lunch with other men by themselves. You jealous prick." She started crying and walked away. It was 2 more days before I saw her again. Maybe I was a jealous prick, but I managed to live with myself. If others couldn't, that was fine by me. The next time I saw Cindy, she knocked on the door. I looked out and saw her in the hall. "I don't want any," I yelled through the door. "It's me. Can I talk to you?" "I don't think so. I'm a jealous prick. Remember?" "I'm sorry I said that. Please let me come in and talk to you for a minute." I opened the door. She just stood there for a minute and wouldn't meet my eyes. "I'm sorry, Eric. I didn't know you would care. I know now, and it won't happen again." "You didn't know that people in a relationship shouldn't have dates alone with members of the opposite sex? You read the wrong relationship books, Cindy. That one is out of the cheater's manual, not the relationship manual." "I'm not a cheater. It was lunch. I've known him since I was in the 4th grade. All the more reason not to be alone with him. Why didn't you tell me you were having lunch with him? If you never have lunch, you never cheat. That's my rule. I don't do it, and no one I'm in a relationship with does it." "Okay, I get it. I'm sorry. It won't happen again." "Okay, I forgive you," I told her. I started to walk away, and she ran after me. "That's it." She was incredulous. "You're going to just walk away from me?" "I'm a jealous prick. I don't think we're on the same page, Cindy. The fact that you didn't see anything wrong with going to lunch with that guy and not telling me about it says that this is not going to work." "Jesus Christ, Eric!" she burst out. "Okay. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry I did it. Don't I mean any more to you than that? God damn it. I've been sleeping with you for months. Don't you know I love you? Are you just going to throw me away for having lunch with a guy I've known all my life? I thought about that for a minute. No, I guess that would be an overreaction. I'm still mad as hell about it, but we'll see if we can work it out. If you're going to have lunch with a man besides me, you should tell me about it in advance. I'll do the same for you. We eventually did work it out, and it was just a blip on the radar until our senior year. I wasn't much into the campus life thing. I went to school to get an education, and most of the students were just people with whom I would never voluntarily associate. I did have a few buddies with whom I hung out. Patrick Kelly was one of them. He was a big football fan, and we had a pretty good team that year. He kept after me to go to a game until I finally gave in and went. We didn't sit in the student section. His dad had season tickets, and we used them to get a seat on the 50-yard line. After the game, we were getting ready to leave, and I saw Cindy in the student section. I didn't know she was going to the game, or I'd have asked her to join us. She was talking and laughing with a group of friends, and I started to go over. Then she started walking down the steps, and there was a guy with her. She was holding on to his arm and laughing up at him. I froze in place. It was George Cooper. He had an injury, and they redshirted him that year. I was just standing there, and she glanced my way. Our eyes locked, and she froze in place. I turned and walked away, and I heard her calling my name. I left Patrick there and kept walking. She caught up to me in the parking lot and grabbed hold of my arm. Eric! Oh my God! Eric! That wasn't what it looked like. I wasn't. I cut her off. I don't care, Cindy. Let go of my arm. Talk to me, Eric. She started crying. Let me explain. I asked you nicely to let go of my arm, I told her. She dropped her hand, and I started walking. She ran around and stood in front of me. You're not leaving until you give me a chance to explain, she wept. Goodbye, Cindy. I walked around her and left her there crying. She called me about 10 times a day until the semester was over, and I never answered or listened to any of her messages. She did her camping out thing in the hall outside my apartment, but I just packed some things, crawled out the window, and stayed with Patrick until the semester was over. I went and stayed with my parents over the Christmas break, and she came by a couple of times. I told Mom and Dad not to let her in, and I refused to go to the door. I transferred out at the semester and went to school 50 miles away. Mom and Dad were pissed at me, but I didn't give a damn. When I graduated, I got a job near Austin and moved into an apartment. I heard about her sometimes when one of my friends mentioned her, but I never saw her. I'd been back in Central Texas for about 6 months when her dad showed up at work one day. When I got off, I saw him standing by my car and started to go back in. I thought about it and just decided to bite the bullet. This was going to suck. I walked up to my car, and he looked up when he heard me. Eric, I know I'm the last guy you want to see, but I'm a father and I don't have a choice. I love my daughter. I know she did something really stupid. I know she did it twice. The problem is, she really loves you, Eric, and she's miserable. She's lost 20 pounds. The first 5 didn't hurt, but now she doesn't sleep, she hardly eats, and she never leaves the house except when she hears you are back home and thinks she might see you somewhere. Put us out of our misery, Eric. At least talk to her. Maybe we can put this behind us and she can move on. Please. Our whole family is suffering. Well, this sucked as much as I thought it would. I felt really sorry for him. None of this was his fault, and he had been my little league baseball coach in the 6th grade. I always liked him and his wife a lot. Okay, Mr. Peterson, I told him. I don't know what good it will do. Cindy did this to me once, and I thought I made myself very clear. I never dreamed it would come up again. She doesn't think like me. I don't know how to get around that. I understand, he nodded. I even agree with you. But please just talk to her. Listen to what she has to say. That's all I'm asking. Thank you, Eric. I owe you one. You don't owe me anything, Mr. Peterson, I told him. You taught me how to play first base. I'm the one that owes you. Tell her I'll be back home and pick her up at 6 o'clock on Friday. Okay. We went to Cheddar's and I bought her dinner. I'd heard it before several times. I didn't want to hear it again. I knew I was going to hear it whether I wanted to or not. George is a really nice guy, she said. Cindy, were you going out with me or not? You know I was, honey. She tried to sweet-talk me. There seems to have been some doubt in your mind, I told her. I saw you together at Chili's. You were sitting together in the same booth, and he had his arm around you. We're very good friends. If you get to know him, you'd like him. I want the two of you to be friends. We talked about that, and I didn't do it again. I want you and him to be friends. We're not going to be friends. We're not going out because of your friend. What do you mean? She stammered. I'm not getting back together with you. The first time it happened, I told you that if you were ever alone with him again, we were done. I guess you didn't believe me. Why are you being such an a-hole? She snapped. It was just lunch and a ride home from the football game. He's a nice guy. No, he's the a-hole. You're an a-hole too. I don't know what I ever saw in you. This was a bad idea. I got up and threw money on the table. I didn't need the change. I walked out the door to my car. I didn't realize she was following me until I hit the remote. Luckily, I only hit it once, and the passenger door stayed locked. She tried to open it, but I just got in and started the car. She ran around and opened my door. Are you just going to leave me here? She yelled. I'll call you a cab. We need to talk, she said. No, we don't. Maybe you can talk to Cooper. He's such a nice guy. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were going to be such a prick about it. I won't be alone with him anymore. Too late. That should have happened last time. You have no respect for me or anyone else but the nice guy. I'll just take my prick self and find someone that likes my kind of prick, not his. Have a nice life, Cindy. I did call her a cab. See? I'm a nice guy. For a prick. I didn't see or hear from her for 3 weeks. When I finally went back to my parents to spend the weekend, I got ambushed. I think they had seen too much Intervention or Dr. Phil. Mom had called me on the way home and asked me what time she should plan dinner. I was totally ignorant of any nefarious plans, and like a dummy, I told her. They even had the sneakiness to park their cars on the next block. When I got home, I got my suitcase and my laptop and headed inside. Dad met me in the entry and took my suitcase. We went upstairs, put my stuff down, and he said Mom and my sister were in the den. They were in the den, all right. So were Cindy and her parents and Mom's pastor. I guess I must have looked like a total idiot standing there with my mouth hanging open. They had the furniture arranged in a cute little circle with an empty chair at which everyone could stare. My little sister jumped up and ran over. She hugged me, kissed me, and touched me all over as she always does. I loved Chris. She was 15 and the cutest thing you've ever seen. She took me and led me by the hand over to my throne. It was either that or an electric chair. Pastor Robbins was evidently the spokesman. I always thought he was a pretentious creep who stood too close when he talked. Eric, we all have something we want to say to you, and we're here to listen to you too. We know you're upset, and we understand, but we think you're being unreasonable. I looked around, and they were all smiling and nodding at me. I love you, honey, and I want us to be together for the rest of our lives, Cindy said in her soft, sexiest voice. Just listen to what we have to say, and then we'll listen to you. It was Dad's turn. I wondered if they had planned who spoke in which order. Son, do you know that your mother has friends that are men, and I have friends that are women? There was silence. "Do you want me to speak?" I asked. They all smiled and nodded. "I wasn't aware you had an open marriage. You concealed that from me so carefully all my life that I was in total ignorance." The smiles faded a little. I think I got off script. "Are you hanging the horns on Dad?" "Mom, I never suspected a thing." She had the grace to blush. "Why are you talking like that?" she asked. "There's no need to be crude. That's not what your father meant. We have friends of the opposite sex. Everyone does." "Okay, well, this has been enlightening. Is it my turn now?" I asked. Cindy's dad spoke up. "Robin and I care about you very much, Eric," he said, regaining his smile. "Cindy loves you with all her heart. She's devoted to you, and for you to ask her to give up her friends is just unreasonable. You aren't really going to break up with her because she has friends, are you?" There was another small silence. "Is it my turn?" I asked. They all smiled and nodded. "Okay, this has been real fun. I appreciate you all being here to explain things to me. I can see how unreasonable I've been. I just need to go up to my room and think for a few minutes. You all wait right here. I should be back in about 10 minutes. Oh, the bliss on their faces was excruciating. I got up, and Cindy came and kissed my cheek. Chris was looking at me funny. I stood up and climbed the 3 stairs out of the den and then the 7 upstairs to my bedroom. I got my suitcase and Chris got my computer. She had followed me. We went outside and put them in the trunk. "You aren't coming back, are you?" she asked. "No, baby." I hugged her. "I love you, but I'm done with this. Call me and I'll come pick you up. We'll go somewhere, just you and me. Okay?" "Okay, Eric." She kissed me. "I love you too. I'm sorry they embarrassed you like that." "Not your fault, sweetheart," I told her. "See you." I gave her one last squeeze and backed up out of the driveway. I rolled the window down. "Take a walk, honey. Give me a chance to get out of town." She nodded and started off down the street. 20 minutes later, my car told me I had a call. It was Mom. "Hi, Mom. Where are you? Where is Chris? Is she with you?" "She's taking a walk. I'm just passing through Hillsborough." She sputtered for a few seconds. "But you said you would be right back." "Well, yeah, but I decided not to. Please feel free to carry on without me." "Oh, Mom, from now on, Chris is the only one of you from whom I'll be taking calls. Don't write, don't come to visit, don't use your telepathic abilities you evidently have that tell you how unreasonable I am. Bye, Mom." "Eric, wait. I love you, honey. I'm sorry. I only want what's best for you. Just let me talk to you. Don't you think I'm the one to decide what's best for me? Bye, Mom. Maybe you can talk to some of your friends that are men." I ended the call. In a minute, I had another call. I didn't answer. I had 5 more calls in the next 5 minutes, and I didn't answer. The 6th one was from Chris. "Hi, kitten. You in trouble?" I asked. "Kind of. They made me call you, Eric." There was a noise and Dad's voice came on. "You should be ashamed." I cut him off. Maybe my family would be interested in marrying Cindy. They were all so reasonable. Maybe they could all have a big group marriage except for Chris, of course. I must have gotten 100 calls over the next 3 days. My secretary at work left stacks of messages on my desk every day. In the morning, after lunch, and at night. I listened to all the voicemails, read all the messages and all the emails. They were very entertaining. Cindy's family was pissed off, and so was she. My parents were too at first. I didn't hear much from Dad, but Mom wasn't pissed off after the first 5 messages or so. She was crying on the voicemails, and her messages and emails were taking on a note of desperation. She was apologetic after the first hour or 2. Cindy also became increasingly weepy and apologetic. She pleaded with me to talk to her, see her, meet with her or call her. Anything. She was going to change. She was going to make it up to me. Everything was going to be different. If I didn't like someone that was her friend, she'd never see them again. All I needed to do was give her another chance, and all this magic was going to happen. She just didn't get it. I guess none of them did. I have a code. I have friends that are women too. Since I had been in a relationship with Cindy, I didn't spend time alone with them. That's just asking for trouble. Sure, there were business and social interactions with women besides Cindy, but I sure wasn't taking them to lunch or dinner, and I didn't put my arms around them. If they had significant others, we hung out together. If they didn't, we didn't hang out. Why put yourself in a compromising situation? Dad had told me this all my life. You date the people you know, you marry the people you date, you have sex with people you are alone with and with whom you make relationships. It's a conscious choice. All this about, I didn't mean for it to happen, or it just happened makes me want to puke. It's a matter of a conscious choice. I chose to be a one-woman man, and I chose for my partner to be a one-man woman. If it sounds like I'm inflexible, you're damn right I am. Summary: I went on a couple of dates over the next week and had a good time. It was kind of a relief not having Cindy around. It was especially liberating not to have to wonder where she was or with whom she was having lunch. I drove back up to McKinney and stayed in a hotel that weekend. I picked Chris up to take her to Six Flags. She came running out and jumped in the car when I pulled up. "You should go quick," she said. It was too late. Mom came running down the sidewalk as I started backing out. She jumped on the hood of the car, and I just couldn't drive off. I rolled down the window. "What do you want, Mom?" "Promise me you won't drive off till I tell you," she said. I sighed. "Okay, I promise. What do you want?" She got down and came to the window. She leaned in, hugged me, and kissed me. "I wanted to tell you I'm very sorry." There were tears in her soft brown eyes. "I should have respected you more, Eric. I love you so much, and you're killing me by not talking to me. You're my only son, and I'm asking you to forgive me. Don't shut me out of your life." I petted her soft cheek. "What are you doing next Saturday?" She looked hopefully at me. "Nothing. Do you want me to do something? Why don't I come and pick you and Chris up? I'll take you to IKEA in Round Rock. Mom loved the place. Then we'll take Chris to the outlet stores and have dinner." Her smile was bright and happy. "Sounds like a good time. We'll be ready, right, Chris?" Chris was very excited about the outlet stores, much less so about IKEA, but she wanted to go. We had a blast at Six Flags, and I was looking forward to the next weekend. Work went well that week. I had just started, and I had a pretty steep learning curve. I got some problems in the foundry sorted out, and Jack had given me a huge pat on the back. That was also the week I met his daughter Allison. I drove up to McKinney and pulled up in the driveway. Mom and Chris came out, all happy and bubbly, and jumped in. "Eric, I want to apologize to you again," Mom started. "Let's just forget about all this. Let's go shopping. All the clothes are on me. Mom, if you buy any of that crappy furniture, I'm not hauling it home." She laughed and we drove away. We stopped for a burger, and it was a good day. I did haul home some crappy furniture. It was just lamps, but I told her she was on her own putting them together. The instructions that came with them were written by professional obfuscators. I stopped by my favorite bar for a beer on the way home Monday. When I climbed the stairs to my apartment, Cindy was sitting on the top step. I almost turned around and left. Then I got mad. This was my home, and I wasn't going to let her chase me off. I sighed and kept climbing. I wondered what she was doing there in the middle of the week. She was in her last year of school to be a physician's assistant. "Can I come in and talk to you?" she asked. "What you want, Cindy?" I asked. I thought everything was pretty clear. "It is. I want to muddy it up." I had to smile at that. "I kind of like clear," I told her. I sighed. She was here, so I might as well get it over with. I opened the door and stood aside so she could walk past. I sat on the sofa, and she pulled a chair up in front of me. I want another chance. Well, that's not going to happen. Why does everyone but me get one? I wasn't going out with anyone else. They felt bad about what they did and apologized. So do I. I've apologized 1,000,000 times. I'm sorry, Eric. I had no idea you felt like you did. How can I fix this? I'll do anything. What the hell do you mean? I had no idea you felt like you do. I told you exactly how I felt. I was stupid. I couldn't believe you really meant it. It sounded so unreasonable to me that I couldn't believe you were serious. I threw up my hands. Do you have any idea how sick I am of the word unreasonable? Maybe I am unreasonable. That's just the way I am. I'm happy with my unreasonableness. If you aren't, there's the door. I don't think it's unreasonable of me to expect my girl to not be having meals with other men alone or going to games with them. It seems like good sense to me. If that's unreasonable, that's just the way I am. I understand now. What can I do to make it up to you? What can I do so we can be together? Cindy didn't look good. Her normally vibrant hair was kind of dull and lifeless, and she was gaunt-looking. She looked like she was going to cry. Her eyes were all full of tears. I swear to God, if you start crying, I'm going to get up and throw you out of here. She sniffed a few times and dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. Eric, I'm so sorry. I didn't plan for that to happen. I didn't go to the game with him. I went with some of my girlfriends and he was just there. We all talked and we were having a good time. He was going to give me a ride back to the dorms. That's all that happened. Okay, I believe you. So why won't you talk to me, then? She seemed puzzled. I'll talk to you about anything but me and you. I didn't think you wanted to talk about anything else. I don't understand, she faltered. I do want to talk about you and me. If you don't believe I went there to meet him, what's wrong? You were leaving with him. My girlfriends don't ride in cars by themselves with other men. I understand work, and I'm not unreasonable enough to care about that. I thought I made it very clear. I don't spend time alone with other women, and I don't allow my girlfriends to spend time alone with other men. You've been reading that cheater's handbook again, Eric. It was just a ride, she protested. How did you get to the game? I asked her. With Julia. Why weren't you riding back with Julia? I asked. She sat there stunned for a minute. I don't know. I do. He was cutting you out of the herd and getting you alone. That's how it starts. You let him do it. You knew if you thought about it at all, I wouldn't like it. Okay, I see that now. I was stupid. I can learn, though, Eric. I see what you're getting at now. I didn't understand. Do guys really do that? How did we get together? You asked me if I wanted to get something to eat after lab, she said. Who are you with? Julia and Robin. You cut me out of the herd, didn't you? Exactly. That's how it works. I got you by yourself, just the two of us, and that's how it works. That's how romances begin. That's what Cooper was trying to do. I let him, didn't I? Yes, Cindy, you did. I can't live with that. I can't always be around to make sure you aren't going off alone with some man. That's your job, and you suck at it. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize what was going on. It all makes sense now. He's been calling me ever since. Eric. If you give me another chance, it will never happen again. I gave you another chance. You screwed it up. Yes, but I didn't understand. I couldn't figure out why you would react that way. I understand now. I won't allow that to happen anymore. Okay. Let's say I believe you. What now? I asked. Will you go out with me Friday? She asked. She wouldn't look up at me. Okay. What time? I still didn't trust her. And that didn't change until I accidentally overheard a conversation. I was on my way home from work, and I stopped at the grocery store to pick up a couple of bottles of wine. The liquor section had tall racks you couldn't see over. I saw a couple of guys on the other aisle when I turned into the section I wanted. One of them was George Cooper. They were talking louder than they should have. "Whatever happened to that hot babe you had on the line?" the guy I didn't know asked. "You mean Cindy?" Cooper asked. "Yeah, she was smoking," the other guy said. "She has this prick boyfriend. I was just about to seal the deal and he saw us together. He threw a fit, and she won't even talk to me now. It won't last. I'll keep calling her, and I'll eventually wear her down. I'm gonna get some of that yet. She says she'll never talk to me again, but I'm not giving up." That surprised me. Cindy was keeping her word, and I was impressed. She had the chance and she passed the test. I felt a lot better about moving forward. I dealt with Cooper too. It's hard to call women when you have your right arm in a cast. He had another redshirt year and lost his scholarship. That was 27 years ago, and until about 5 years ago, she was as good as her word. Then someone gave her a book. It was something about her needs, his needs. And Cindy was all gaga about it. All of a sudden, there was all this psychobabble coming out of her mouth about getting in touch with her feelings. She explained it all to me. Men and women are different. I was shocked. Who knew? Who buys that? Do I need to pay $29.99 for someone to point out the obvious? I was pretty sure I had known that since the first time I saw a girl. There was all this about how men didn't understand women, how they often lived lives of deprivation because their men didn't understand or care about their needs, and how they could take charge of their lives by making us aware of their need for emotional fulfillment. She had all these great ideas about what we should do. We talked about it a lot, for hours on end, and carefully arranged and set bonding meetings. We acquired a bookshelf that was loaded with the most inane and stupid books imaginable. We watched boring and stupid movies designed to make me aware of my callousness and insensitivity. She would highlight passages in the stupid books for me to read. The insanity got more and more extreme. Most of the sage wisdom she received and dispensed seemed to have one aim. Women need emotional fulfillment, and their husband is incapable of providing it. However, if he truly loves her, he will support and encourage her in her journey to discover her emotional security, and only then can she find true happiness. That had been her quest for the last 5 years. Her behavior hadn't changed as far as I knew. She went out with groups without me and spent a lot of time with her circle of other sympathetic women, but she was never alone with other men. I lived by the same rule. We both understood emergencies, work, and family, but we never went anywhere alone with members of the opposite sex for entertainment. Until that day, apparently. I really had no idea how long this had been going on. Dad? Earth to Dad. Olivia was pulling on my arm. I hugged her. "Hi, baby. Sorry, I was a little distracted there. Olivia, these ladies are Samantha and Cecilia. Samantha is hurt. Can you help them? Where's Mom?" "That's a good question. I'm gonna want to talk to you about that later. Can you get Samantha fixed up?" "Sure," she said, turning in and looking Samantha over. "So how come you're here with Clueless?" She nodded in my direction. "Eric has been helping me, and you should be more respectful to your father," Samantha told her. Olivia snorted. "Well, he's not at all respectable, so that's out. I do love him with all my heart, though. Is that good enough?" Samantha's eyes twinkled. "I can tell, honey. He's been so nice to me. He carried me here in his truck, got me in this nice room with these nice nurses, and I'm ever so grateful. You don't have to stay anymore, Mr. Hollister. Dr. Olivia and Cecilia will take care of me now. It was a pleasure to meet you, Samantha. But if you call me Mr. Hollister one more time, I'm going to take you back." I smiled. "My name is Eric. I'm going to be checking on you. I have your groceries in my truck." What do you want me to do with them? Can you? No, I can't ask. Can't ask me what? I asked. Cecilia spoke up. Could you please take them to her house? We can't afford for them to spoil. Her grandson is there, and he'll let you in. She walked me out into the hall and gave me the address. I turned to leave, and she spoke softly. Eric, I'm so grateful to you for helping Grandma. She stood up on her tiptoes, kissed my cheek, put her arms around me, and hugged me. You're a really nice man. I patted her shoulder and walked outside. When I went out the emergency room doors, I saw Cindy and Pierce hurrying toward the entrance. I kept a big concrete column between me and them and heard them talking. This is very bad, Elliot, Cindy was saying. This is very bad. God, I hope he's still there. We've got to fix this. We'll tell him we were planning the board meeting. He can't find out about us. I'm not ready yet. Eric's too stupid to figure it out, Pierce said. He doesn't have a clue. You're wrong. He's smarter than either one of us. Our only hope is that he didn't suspect anything. Remember, we were planning the board meeting. I'll get Julia to say she was there. Talk about shocked. I guess I was really stupid. I never suspected a thing. I walked to the truck in a daze. I was 2 blocks away before I thought to check the address Cecilia had given me. I was going the wrong way. I went around the block, and my phone rang. It was Cindy. I didn't answer. I found the address. It was a little white frame house with a nice vinyl fence around it. I got the groceries and carried them up to the door. When I rang the bell, a slender guy answered. Are you Samantha's grandson? I asked. Yes, what can I do for you? He asked. His voice was kind of high and breathy. She had an accident, and I brought her groceries home for her. I told him. She isn't hurt bad, but she broke her arm and got scraped up a little. Your sister asked me to bring these over. I don't have a sister. If you mean Cecilia, she's my cousin. Sorry, my bad. Can you put the groceries away for her? Yes, I can. He looked me up and down. Would you like to come in? No, got to run. I told him uneasily. Wait, are the eggs broken? They were, and I had promised her more eggs. That gave me a reason to come back when Samantha was there. Now I had some business to attend to. I drove to Julia's and she was home. She looked shocked when she saw me at the door. Paul isn't here, she said nervously. I wanted to talk to you anyway. I told her. Paul pulled into the driveway just then. Well, I guess he's here now, I said. He jumped out and grabbed his briefcase out of the back seat. Hey, buddy, he called. Let's grab a beer and sit on the porch. It's a nice evening. Julia, honey, would you grab Eric and me a couple of beers? We sat down on the porch, and Julia came out and handed us a couple of bottles of Paul's homebrew. He makes very good beer. This was a nice pale ale. She started to go back inside, and I caught her hand. Julia, I told you I wanted to talk to you, I said. She looked nervously at Paul. I've got dinner cooking. Could I talk to you later? I think now is good, I told her. I don't want to give you time to make up a story. She burst into tears. Don't make me tell Eric, she begged. She's been my friend since the 2nd grade. I don't want to get involved. Paul was pissed at me or her. I couldn't tell which. What the hell is going on around here? He asked. Somebody better tell me something quick. Cindy is having an affair with Pierce. She has Julia covering for her. There's more to it than that, but I don't know what yet. Julia, is that true? He asked. Yes, no. I'm not covering for her. I told her I wouldn't. Julia sobbed. This doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm so sorry, Eric. I wanted to tell you. But you were so happy. And I love you so much. I didn't know how. I didn't have time to figure out what I needed to do. I never had a chance to figure anything out. I didn't want you to be hurt. I stood up and hugged her. I know, Julia. I don't blame you. I would have been very upset with you if you had lied for her. I'm very sorry you got dragged into this. You don't deserve any of this. I'll make it up to you somehow. It may take me a while. She sobbed into my chest. I'm so sorry, Eric. I don't know what's wrong with her. She's acting crazy. Maybe she'll come to her senses. Do you know how long this has been going on? I asked her. No. The first I heard about it was when she called me an hour ago. She acted like it had been going on for a while, though. Well, I apologize again, Julia. Paul, I didn't mean to drag you guys into this. I just knew she was trying to get Julia to lie for her. I had to see for myself. If there's anything we can do, just ask us, Eric, Paul said. You know we'll be here for you. Know any good divorce lawyers? I chuckled. Actually, I do. My partner is a family law specialist. You should talk to her if you decide to go that route. I thanked them and apologized again. I drove home, hating the thought of going in. Cindy wouldn't be there, but Olivia would. What was I going to say? I wondered if she knew. If she was covering for her mother, I would have to find out. That would just kill me. I was hurting enough as it was. I called her on the way home and told her I would pick up chicken for dinner. Popeyes was happy to supply that, and we sat down at the table and ate. She caught me up on Samantha. She got some pain medication and a cast, and Cecilia had taken her home. We chatted for a while, and I just couldn't get started. I wasn't even sure I wanted to know. She finished putting the leftovers away, and I just picked her up and carried her to the sofa, sitting her down and hugging her. She looked up at me and saw the tears streaming down my cheeks. Daddy, what's wrong with you? She asked. Why are you acting so weird? Livy. I always called her that when she was little. You know I love you very much, don't you? Yes, I love you too, and you're starting to freak me out, Daddy. You're not sick or anything, are you? I had to laugh. No, baby, I'm not sick. Do you have anything you want to tell me about your mother? I know you work together. She looked up into my face with those bottomless blue pools that were her eyes. You know, don't you, Daddy? She said softly. Yes, I found out today. Why didn't you tell me, baby? She began to cry. Because I didn't have any proof. I suspected it. I confronted her about it, and she just laughed at me. She said I was being ridiculous, and she didn't want to hear anything like that again. I couldn't prove anything other than that they disappeared at odd times and acted weird around each other. What are you going to do, Daddy? I guess that depends on her. I'm going to confront her too. I won't listen to lies. If she lies, we're done. We may be done anyway. I don't know how to get over this, honey. Will you help me? I'd die for you, Daddy. She held me tightly. I'm on your side here. She's lying and cheating. I won't stand for that. The idea of my mother lying to me just kills me. The idea of her doing that to you makes me madder than hell. I want to slap her. Yeah, me too. I chuckled. I don't want to go to jail, and I don't want you to get violent either. We need to be cool. Okay? Yes, I know, but I'm still very angry. We should change the locks on the door or something. That does sound tempting. I laughed. I'm afraid that would only be temporary. She can get the law to let her back in. Let's just see what happens when I confront her. I want to be there. This is my family too. Okay, we'll just sit here, and I'll hold you until she gets home. Okay. We cried together for a long time. I felt like my life had crumbled around me, and I didn't know what I would have done if my baby hadn't been there for me. It still hurt worse than anything I had ever experienced, but I knew that Olivia and I would be together. We finally just cried ourselves out. We made a few adjustments to our living arrangements and waited. She got up and got us a bowl of ice cream, and we watched a movie until we saw Cindy's car lights turn into the driveway. She looked very nervous when she came in and saw us sitting there. Olivia was still next to me with one arm around my neck. Cindy tried to bluster it out. "Hey, you waited up," she said. She walked over and tried to kiss Olivia, but she put a hand up. "Save it, Mom." She practically spat at her. "We know all about it. Don't try to pretend everything is okay." "Eric, could I speak with you alone for a few minutes?" Cindy started to walk toward the bedroom, but when she noticed that I hadn't moved, she stopped. "Just a few minutes," she said. "No, we're good," I told her. "What do you think you're doing, Cindy?" She came back and sat in the club chair across from us. I saw her square her shoulders and take a deep breath. "I have a relationship with Elliot Pierce. This doesn't have anything to do with us, Eric. We're fine. This is something entirely separate from our marriage. I'm not leaving you or anything. This is just something I need. I can talk to Elliot and we have an emotional connection. We've talked it over, and you won't be able to tell any difference in our lives. I won't neglect you. This is just between me and him. I need something different. I've been very happy with you, but I just need something different than what you give me." Olivia laughed. "Yeah, like that's going to happen. Get real, Mom." "Olivia, this doesn't have anything to do with you," Cindy said. "This is between your father and me. So when will you be moving out?" I asked Cindy. "What are you talking about?" she asked. "I'm not moving out. Why would I move out?" "Well, you need a new place to live," I told her. "After the divorce, we'll have to sell this house. Olivia and I need to find another place." "What divorce?" she said. "We aren't getting a divorce. I don't want a divorce." "Well, I don't give a flying fuck what you want," I told her. "The total lack of respect you just showed me and your daughter just got you one. What in the hell have I ever said or done over the last 27 years that would make you think I would accept this? No, we're getting a divorce, Cindy. I predict it's going to be a long, nasty one. Then you're going to have a long, nasty, lonely life after the divorce too. Why are you being like this? Why can't you just accept that I have needs that aren't being met?" she complained. "It doesn't have to affect us at all. We're not getting a divorce. I love you, and I want to be with you for the rest of our lives." "Well, too bad. You don't always get what you want," I said. "I want to have a wife that isn't sleeping with that creep Pierce." Did I get what I wanted? Did anyone ask me if I wanted to get sloppy seconds from that douchebag? I don't remember that conversation. "Eric, I want to be a whore, and you don't mind, do you?" When did we have that conversation? Did you hear that conversation, Livy? "No, I didn't hear it," she said. "Did you really tell Dad you wanted to be a whore, Mom? This is ridiculous." Cindy stood up. "I can see neither one of you are adults. When you grow up, we can talk. If you're just going to insult me, we can just not speak." "Good. I don't like to listen to whores anyway," Olivia said. "Are you leaving anyway, Mom? I've always wanted to have Daddy all to myself." "How adorable." "I'm not going anywhere," Cindy screamed. "Stop saying that." "Oh, you're going somewhere," I told her. "Hell, I hope. Maybe they have a cheater's wing. I predict you'll be gone in a week. You have this idea that you're a virtuous, nice person, and you're being so reasonable and so loving, but you're not. Now that we all know what you are, you won't be able to stand being around us. You're just a pretty rotten person, Cindy. You have no concept of right and wrong. Now we all know it. I'll be telling all our friends, our family, the people you work with, everyone. I'm going to enjoy this. Just how long do you think you can put up with that?" "You're not going to tell anyone," she said. "It would be too embarrassing for you. You just need time to get used to the idea. You're going to be very happy. You won't be affected at all. I promise. I love you, Eric, and I'm going to make sure you're happy." Olivia burst out laughing. "You really are a stupid witch, aren't you, Mom?" You don't have a clue how evil you are. You haven't done anything but shit all over our family, your husband, and your marriage. No, no, you're not going to make him anything but miserable. His happiness is now my project. I couldn't help giving her a thankful squeeze. I had to let out a little spleen. Cindy, do you remember George Cooper? Her face went pale. This is George Cooper, but permanent. Good luck with the rest of your life. You might even hook up with him again. You don't seem too picky about the people you sleep with. You a-hole, she said. How can you bring that up? This isn't like that at all, and you're the only man I've ever slept with. I haven't slept with Elliot. Olivia and I looked at each other. I was kind of shocked. The question was, did I believe her? Then there was another question. Did it matter? I decided it didn't. Well, what's holding you back? I asked her. You are, she said. I need for you to accept this. Elliot and I talked about it. If you really love me, you'll be happy for me that I found this emotional outlet. He doesn't mind that I love you and that I'll never leave you. This is just about me meeting my emotional needs. Olivia was hysterical. Oh my God, she gasped. She couldn't stop laughing. Mom, I never knew you were so stupid. Where did you come up with that? Did that evil creeper Elliot fill your head with that nonsense? You're too stupid to live. God, I hope I didn't get any genes from you. Cindy went red in the face, and I thought she was going to explode with rage. Olivia, you can go to your room, she said. I won't have you disrespecting me like that. Are you nuts, witch? Olivia asked. I'm 25 years old. I'm a grown woman. You can't send me to my room. I make the house payment here every 3 months, just like you do. I have my own wing. Why don't you go to your room? Oh wait, that's Dad's room. Maybe we'll let you stay in one of the guest bedrooms until the divorce. Maybe, since you haven't screwed him yet, it's not too late for you to save your skanky butt. Maybe if you beg and crawl long enough, Daddy will forgive you. He's a really nice guy. I'm not so nice. I hate a cheater, and you're one. I hope the creeper was worth it. Do you know he's hit on all the females at the hospital, including your daughter? That's just a lie, Cindy shouted. He loves me. You're just making that up to hurt me. Why are you guys being such a-holes about this? Don't you want me to be fulfilled and happy? I needed to get a handle on this before it escalated out of control. Cindy, you're digging your own grave every time you open your mouth. You should stop talking. I accept that you need to be fulfilled and happy. There's the door. Chase your dreams. You need to give up this idea that you can have your cake and eat it too. You broke the deal, Cindy. If being with me was part of your fulfillment, you just tossed that away. Maybe you can be fulfilled with Pierce, but I don't know. He looks like you would have trouble filling anything. He's an anemic little turd, and he's getting ready to be unemployed. Maybe he'll have a pot to piss in then after his divorce, but I doubt it. I think his wife is smart enough to have a prenuptial agreement. I'd be surprised if you keep your job too. Her father is the AMA president for this state. When they find out what the two of you are up to, it may get ugly. We haven't done anything, she protested. There's no reason for all this. You lied to me, tried to get Julia to lie for you, and planned to hang the horns on me with that pathetic piece of shit, and displayed professional misconduct. Neither one of you was on duty when an emergency showed up that you were supposed to be covering. I think the board will frown on that. You may both lose your licenses. We didn't do anything wrong. She began to panic. I guess the script we had worked out was going off the rails. Besides, I don't believe you haven't screwed him, Olivia said. You've lied about everything else. I haven't had sex with him, Cindy said. I'm not lying. Why should we believe anything you say? I asked. You were at least planning to, and that's just as bad. Do you see the problem here? We don't believe you. That's what happens when you start lying. No one believes anything you say. Worse, you try to get Julia to lie for you. I heard you planning that lie, Cindy. I think you should go and see if Pierce has any more good ideas. I'm not going anywhere, she said. You probably changed the locks while I was gone. Olivia and I looked at each other and nearly choked laughing. Cindy had no idea what we were laughing about, but she didn't like it one bit. I don't know what you think is funny about this situation, but I find nothing humorous about it, she fumed. No, it's an inside joke, I said. The situation isn't funny. It's pathetic. You're pathetic, Cindy. Now screw off. Olivia and I were doing something when she wept and had a hissy fit, but Olivia just turned up the volume on the TV. We have a killer sound system and we just ignored her. She finally stomped off to the kitchen and warmed up some of the chicken. She came back and tried to sit on the sofa with us, but we moved to my big recliner. She finally had enough. Fine, she screamed over the TV. Just act like a couple of spoiled brats. I'm going to bed. When she got to the bedroom door, she discovered it was locked. Olivia turned the TV down for a minute. Your stuff is in the blue room, she said sweetly. That's Daddy's room, she said. Turning the volume back up, Cindy just stood there glaring, staring at us before stomping off down the hall. When she closed the door, I kissed Livy, and we went to bed. I left for work in the morning before they were up, but there was nothing going on. Jack was in a meeting and had left instructions for me to take the day off. That was good because I had an appointment with Paul's partner. Her name was Jasmine Albright, and she was one hell of an impressive lady. She was probably about 40, and she just oozed class. She was tall, slender, and dark, with a mane of hair, and she was just gorgeous. She was as sharp as a whip too, and she got me squared away pretty quickly. I spent the rest of the day running around doing all the errands she wanted me to do. I visited the bank, the insurance agency, HR at work, and our investment advisor. I spent ages on the phone talking to people who didn't understand English and got credit cards changed, policies amended, and a million other things. I was exhausted. I had one more stop to make. I went to the grocery store and bought 3 dozen eggs. I took them to Samantha's house, and Cecilia opened the door. I was amazed again at how beautiful she was. She was just so tiny and cute. She looked like she was about 14, but I knew she was a second-semester sophomore in college. The slender fellow was missing, and I was pleased with that. Cecilia hugged me and invited me in. I had stopped by Starbucks and bought 3 coffees and 3 poppy seed muffins. Samantha was reading a magazine in a comfortable chair in the living room, and her face just lit up when she saw me. She started trying to get up, but I hurried over and knelt by her chair. I hugged her, and she gave me a kiss on the cheek. The 3 of us sat around, drank our coffee, and ate muffins while we talked. Samantha was feeling a lot better, and she couldn't stop telling me how much she loved Olivia. We talked about Cecilia's schoolwork. She wanted to be an education administrator and was planning to transfer to a 4-year school after graduating from the local junior college. She was working hard to get a scholarship. I admired her surreptitiously. She had huge brown eyes and a little pixie face. Her hair was a curly mop about a foot long, covering her right eye most of the time. One tiny ear was showing, and it was kind of pointed like an elf's. In fact, she looked like someone's fantasy drawing of a magical creature. She caught me looking a couple of times, but she just smiled and winked. I sat for half an hour, kissed them both goodbye, and promised to visit again soon. When I left, I felt like I had made 2 good friends. I thought I'd check on them often and see if they needed anything. They hadn't mentioned any men in their lives, and the slender young man didn't seem very handy. Livy was home when I got there, and I took her out for barbecue. I told her about my day, and she said Pierce had taken Cindy out somewhere for a long time. I guess they were planning their strategy while I was executing mine, and it was going well. We both went to bed before Cindy came home. She knocked on the bedroom door, but I put in my earplugs and just went back to sleep. I left in the morning, and there was a note for me on the table. Cindy felt we needed to talk and asked me to wait up for her that night. Work was back to normal, but I wasn't on my game. Allison came in to discuss some sales stuff, and I just couldn't get focused. The third time she had to shake me, she asked what was going on with me. "I'm sorry, Ally. I'm not at my best today," I told her. "Well, you better get that way," she said. "What's your problem?" "I'm getting a divorce," I told her. Her jaw dropped. "What the hell, Eric? What did you do?" "I didn't do anything," I said. "Well, I probably did lots of stuff. But Cindy came home and announced that she was having a relationship with that prick Pierce. It isn't going to affect our marriage at all. She's going to make sure I'm not unhappy, but she has to fulfill her needs." "Jesus Christ!" she exploded. "Does the guy have a foot-long tool or something? What the hell does that even mean?" "I have no idea," I told her. "She's spouting some BS about emotional fulfillment. She insists she hasn't slept with him, but she's going to. And if I love her, I'm supposed to let her be happy." She stood up and went to the bar, poured a couple of fingers of her good bourbon, and came back to sit down. "Allison is one of the most beautiful women I've ever met. She just exudes sensuality every time you look at her. It's almost impossible to pinpoint. Her body is just perfect. Tiny waist, very firm round hips, and the longest legs on earth. Her face puts that body to shame. She's a tiger, though. She chooses men like a shark in a school of bait fish. I've always been about half afraid of her. She had quite a crush on me when she was a teenager, and it was kind of touch and go there for a while. She wasn't used to anyone telling her no, and I was afraid she would hate me for keeping her at arm's length. She didn't, and she's become probably my best friend. There was always an undercurrent of sexual tension between us, but we handled it. She was Olivia's best friend, too. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "You aren't planning any stupid revenge plots or anything, are you?" I laughed. "No, I just want to get this over with and move on. I've wasted way too much time already. I just don't care, Ally. I'm just tired. I'm too old and too numb to plot. I am going to take Pierce down, but I'm not going to kick his balls or anything. I won't do anything illegal. His balls are in a sling, but he doesn't know it. I don't care enough about him to kick his balls. I was wrong about that, but I didn't know it at the time. I really believe that if they had just left me alone, we would have been fine." Allison hung out with me the rest of the day, and it was very good for my ego. She made me promise to take her out to dinner on Friday night, and I went home. When I opened the door, there was a lot of yelling going on inside. Cindy and Pierce were sitting on the sofa, and Olivia was standing in front of them, reading them the riot act. She was poking her finger in Pierce's chest, and he made the mistake of slapping her hand away. Before he knew what hit him, she grabbed his hair and pulled his nose down to meet her rising knee. The nose didn't win that encounter, and I dragged him by his hair out the door. When we got out on the porch, Olivia kicked him in the ribs, and I body-pressed him up to a level and threw him off the porch into a barberry shrub. He screeched like he was being clawed to death by house cats and thrashed his way to the ground. Those thorns scratched the hell out of him, and he crawled out to the curb and got into a car that was parked there. He burned the tires getting out of there. I looked at Olivia, who burst out laughing. We split our sides out there on the porch. Cindy wasn't amused. "I can't believe you did that," she screamed. "We came over here to have a civilized conversation, and you just acted like savages. I can't believe you did that to that nice man. You weren't even giving him a chance. You'd like him if you just gave him a chance." "I did give him a chance," I told her. I didn't kill him, so he has a chance to start running when he sees me. Screw off, Cindy. Baby, you want to go to a movie? I asked Olivia. We cleaned up, changed with Cindy standing in the hall raving at us, and went out. We saw a really bad movie that Olivia loved and I hated, then went out to eat wings. Cindy was gone by the time we got home. Maybe there was an emergency at the hospital involving thorn removal. I took Allison out to eat Friday night and we went to a club. My conscience was clear. My marriage was over. She was an amazing dancer and gave me all I could handle. Guys kept asking her to dance, and she said she didn't dare come without an escort. I volunteered to escort her any time. My social calendar isn't exactly packed with smoking hot women, I told her. She grinned up at me. Well, I'll take you up on that. I've been in love with you since I was 15. You know that? Yeah. I've noticed how you've been pining away. I laughed. I've been scared to death of you since you were 15. I know, she said. I would never hurt you. You know that, don't you, Eric? I know, sweetheart, I told her. I'm not really that afraid of you. You're very loyal to the people you love. If I ever found the right guy, I would be very loyal to him. She buried her face in my chest as we danced. That man could be you. I'm honored, ally, I told her. I'm pretty messed up right now. I don't know if I'll ever get over this. Remind me again when you think I'm healed. Okay? Count on it, she said. Take me home, Eric, before I attack you. I hope my batteries are in good shape tonight. We laughed, and I took her home. She did attack me at the door, and it was the hottest kiss I've ever had. She didn't try to follow up on it, and I was grateful. My bruised ego did feel a lot better after that. Cindy was still up when I got home, and she tried to start something, but I was feeling too good to listen to her. I went to bed, locking the door behind me. Getting up Saturday morning wasn't something I wanted to do. I lay in bed and tried to make plans for the day. I finally got up, and Cindy had made coffee. I ate a pastry and drank a cup. She came in and told me we needed to talk. No, we don't need to talk, I told her. Every word you say just pisses me off more. You need to stop talking. Where do you want to be served? My attorney tells me that the papers will be ready Monday. Do you want to be served at work or here? I'm going to tear those papers up, she said. Why can't you understand? I don't want a divorce. Yes, you do want a divorce, I told her. Everything you've done since you started screwing around with Pierce was headed to this inevitable end. If you didn't want a divorce, you wouldn't have started this. Maybe I made a mistake, she said. I've been thinking a lot. I don't want to lose you. Well, I didn't think you'd react this way. You knew damned well I'd react this way, I told her. What made you think any differently? Remember the last time you pulled something like this? We were just immature children then. I thought you were more mature now, she said. I am, I told her. You aren't. Mature people don't act like you. Hell, Olivia is more mature than you. Everyone is more mature than you. You act like you're in high school. This is hopeless. You're hopeless. Why don't you go hang out with Pierce? You seem to be of a kind. I went out and started the lawnmower. She sat on the deck and glowered down at me while I mowed the backyard. When I opened the gate and mowed the front, she sat on the porch and watched. I got the weed eater and trimmed everything up. Olivia came out and went swimming. She sunned herself for a while, and I went in and took a shower. I put on my trunks, picked up a couple of beers, and went out to hang with her. We had some water fights and sat on the edge of the pool, drinking our beer and doing a little father-daughter bonding. She had a date that night, and I thought about what I could do to get away from Cindy. I called Cecilia and asked her if I could bring dinner over for her and Samantha. She seemed excited at the idea, so I cooked most of the afternoon. I'm a pretty good cook, and I went all out. Cindy asked me what I was cooking twice, and I just ignored her. I packed up the cooler in a basket and drove over to their house. Cecilia helped me, and we warmed some stuff up and opened one of the bottles of wine I had brought. They were very impressed with my culinary skills. I had even baked a chocolate cake, and it was one of my best efforts. They seemed like old friends to me. I was very comfortable with them, and we talked about nothing and everything. Cecilia asked me if I wanted to go for a walk, and as much as I had eaten, that sounded like a good idea. We strolled along, and she quickly tucked her tiny little brown hand into my big one. Felt like I was walking with a little girl. She bounced and chattered like one too. She was utterly charming and totally cute. I put my arm around her and squeezed her. She slipped her arm around my waist and bumped my thigh with her hip while we walked. It made me very sad. I remembered all the walks with Cindy just like this. I think Cecilia must have sensed something was wrong because she looked up at me. "Are you okay, Eric?" she asked. "It doesn't have anything to do with my present company," I told her. "It's something else. I don't want to spoil the mood. I really like spending time with you and Samantha." "I'm a pretty good listener," she volunteered. "My wife told me last week she's having an affair with another man," I said. "She says she hasn't slept with him yet." I don't believe her, but the idea that I'm supposed to be okay with it because it's something she needs is just mind-boggling to me. That's what she told me. It doesn't have anything to do with us. I just need to be emotionally fulfilled and happy. "Oh my God!" Cecilia exclaimed. "Eric, I'm so sorry, but she sounds like an idiot. How long have you been married?" 27 years, I told her. I don't know if I've just been blind and stupid all this time, or if she suddenly lost her mind. I needed to get away from her, and I imposed on you. "I'm sorry." "Nonsense. You can impose on me any time," she said. "I really like you, Eric. What are you going to do?" "The way things stand now, I'm going to divorce her. She can't see anything wrong with what she's doing, and I can't see being married to someone who doesn't see anything wrong with it." "Me neither. I'm so sorry, Eric. I can't imagine how you must be feeling right now." "It's not right now that bothers me," I admitted. "I'm with you, and you make me forget about my problems for a while. Getting to hang out with you and Samantha makes me feel like there's a normal place in the world I can just look at and feel as if I belong. I know I've got friends and people who care about me. Thanks, Cecilia." She looked up at me and swung around, wrapping her arms around me and hugging me, pressing her tiny body against me and burying her face in my chest. "I'm here anytime you need me. I'll never forget what you did for Grandma. She asks me every day if I've seen a hospital bill. You didn't need to pay for her, but you did. You'll always be special to us, Eric. I know you're all mixed up right now. Just let me know when you get it straightened out. Okay? I'll have something to tell you then." We walked and talked for 2 hours, sitting on benches, sometimes with her snuggled up against me or her tiny little hand tucked into mine. I found out that her mother was a drug addict and had sold her body to get drugs. She died from hepatitis 5 years earlier, and Cecilia had been living with Samantha since her mother's death. The slender young man I had met was her cousin. Her mother's brother had pursued a similar path, except he had died from a gunshot wound. Her cousin's name was Ty. He had his own place, but they saw quite a bit of him. I loved talking to her. She was smart and funny and was someone I could get really close to. It wasn't going to happen for a while. I was too upset and too on edge to even consider becoming interested in any romantic way. We walked back, and Samantha offered me another cup of coffee. I took it, and we talked a while before I left for home. Olivia was home by then, and we sat together on the sofa while she told me all about her date. Cindy came and sat down. I guess she wanted to listen, but Olivia stopped talking and just stared at her. "What?" Cindy asked. "I'm interested in my daughter's life." Well, don't get too interested, I said. You aren't going to be in it very long. Don't you have somewhere to be? I'll bet Pierce would like you to be interested in talking to his children. He's probably lonely, the poor, nice man. Maybe you should go and console him. Dad and I will just console ourselves with talking about our family that you did your best to destroy. Of course, that made her angry. She yelled for a while about how selfish we were being and how no one cared about her and what she needed. Cindy, you seem to have caring about yourself and what you need on lockdown, I told her. You don't need any help. We're going out for dinner. Where are we going? She asked. Well, the we is me and Olivia, I told her. You can go out with Pierce. She yelled some more until we left. It was interesting to me that she just kept blundering on. After we got home, Livy and I played Trivial Pursuit and Cindy tried to play with us. She made popcorn and asked us if we wanted any, just making a nuisance of herself until we went to bed. When I went to work Monday, I was normal enough to actually get some work done. When I got home, Cindy was waiting. She was off Mondays and had evidently been busy. When Olivia came in, dinner was on the table. She had gone all out and it was very good. She could always cook. She tried to make normal conversation, but we mostly ignored her. I went and met Allison at the bar and we talked shop and played pool for a while. She's a pool shark too, and she took me to the cleaners. Olivia called me about 8 and told me to meet her at the Riverside Inn. She said it was important but wouldn't tell me why, just that it was important and I should hurry. Allison wanted to come, and when we pulled up, I saw Olivia's dart across the street. She came over and scooted Allison over next to me when she got in the truck. Hey Alice, she said. Dad, Mom left right after you did. She had been on the phone, and I think she was talking to Pierce. I followed her, and they came here. They checked into a room, and they've been in there for about 20 minutes. I think we should pay them a visit. I've got our video camera, and I think they're doing the dirty. This will be evidence. We argued about it for a while. Allison thought it was stupid and dangerous, and I really didn't want to know. Olivia carried the argument when she said that if Cindy tried to fight the divorce, I could threaten her with the video. That made sense to me, and Allison came around too. I went to the desk and asked the guy what room my wife was in. I told him I was supposed to meet her, and he checked my ID and gave me a key card. We stopped outside the door, and Olivia got the camera ready. When we opened the door, Cindy was on her knees by the bed, and Pierce's meat was in her mouth. She jumped up and screamed while Olivia caught the action. What the hell are you doing here? She screamed. This is a private room. We were just leaving, I told her. Well, so much for, I haven't had sex with him. You made me do this, she yelled. You forced me into this. If you hadn't been such an a-hole, this would all have been so loving and good. No, you had to be a hard asshole. Hi, Cindy, Allison said. That's a tiny little pecker you were working on there. You get more smoking a cigar. Well, there's no accounting for taste. Some women go for the pathetic prick type, she replied. She took my arm. I kind of like tall, dark, and handsome. Get your hands off my husband, Cindy screamed. We turned and laughed, left, and I closed the door. We walked back to the truck, and I was kind of in a daze. Allison drove the truck, and Olivia followed us to Freddy's. We got shakes and they talked. They noticed that I was quiet and scooted over against me. Eric, I know this is bad, but it's not the end of the world, Allison said. You're going to be fine. You've got people who love you. I love you. Olivia loves you. It's going to be okay. I know it looks bad, but I've got some news for you that is going to change things. I'll tell you at work tomorrow. You have a meeting with Dad at 10 o'clock. This is going to shake things up a bit, but it's just what you need right now. Take me back to my car. I walked out between two of the most beautiful girls on the planet, and it felt good. Not good like everything was right with the world, but still good. I took Ally back to the bar and went home. Olivia was waiting up and we talked for a while. Cindy came in about an hour later. I stopped for gas on the way home, and my credit cards wouldn't work. "What have you done, Eric?" she asked. "Well, since we're getting divorced, we can't have joint cards anymore," I told her. "We also now have separate bank accounts. I have one, you have one, and there's a third one that Olivia is on for household expenses. I put half our savings and half our investment account in your checking account. You'll have to get your own credit cards if you want them. The server said you tore up the papers. I suggest you get new ones and sign them. If you don't, I'm going to send your new steamy video to your parents. I don't know if they're into porn, but since you're the star, they might like it." "You asshole!" she shouted. "I should have known. How am I supposed to get new papers?" "That's your problem," I told her. "I got you the first set. I've made an appointment with a realtor. She's going to tell us how much the house is worth. You have two choices. You can buy me out or I'll buy you out. I have to tell you, though, you can't make the payments in case you decide to buy me out." "I'm not doing anything," she said. "It's going to take a long time to get divorced. I don't see any reason to do anything until the divorce is final." "It's going to take about a month," Olivia told her. "No, it isn't," Cindy said. "I know it takes longer than that. We're going to file for a simplified divorce," I told her. "There are no children to have custody disputes about. I'm not paying you any alimony, and we're going to agree on the division of property. I'm giving you half of our assets. We could have our final hearing 20 days after the filing. You make 3 times as much as me. I think you should pay me alimony." "Well, I have a video that says I shouldn't," I point out. "There's also the fact that if you screw with me, you'll be unemployed, and I predict you'll lose your license to practice." She cursed and turned red until Olivia and I went and locked ourselves in our bedrooms. Somehow she got the papers signed and we got the hearing scheduled. I drew up all the paperwork about our division of assets, and she signed them. Every day for 27 days. She told me she didn't want a divorce. She loved me, and this was all just a misunderstanding on my part. As the hearing approached, she became increasingly desperate. 3 days before the hearing, she left me a note saying she needed to speak with Olivia and me and asked us to please wait up for her to get home from work. She ran up, took a quick shower, and then came back down and got us all a beer. She asked us to sit around the bar in the kitchen while she got something to eat. I could tell she was very nervous and didn't quite know how to start. She took a couple of bites of her dinner and just looked at us for a minute. It was surreal. We had been here so many times, and now it was over. I had no idea what she wanted. Finally, she sighed and began. "Eric, Olivia, I want to apologize to both of you," she said. "I've made some terrible mistakes. I never dreamed that any of this would happen. I never thought it would come to this. I totally misjudged you, Eric. I expected you to understand me and support me. I know now that was a mistake. I get it." "No, you don't," I told her. "This wasn't a mistake. You still don't see anything wrong with what you did. The problem in your mind isn't what you did. The problem is that I didn't understand and support you. It was just an emotional need I had. Why can't you understand that? I love you, Eric. I always have and I always will. Why are you so jealous and immature?" "Well, I remember something about standing in front of 100 people and promising to forsake all others," I told her. "You told me you understood me and that what you did then would never happen again. It did, and it's worse this time. This isn't about me not understanding and supporting you, Cindy. It's about you lying, cheating, and being unfaithful. You did this, not me." "Oh, please," she said, now disgusted. What about all the time you spend with Allison? I know about you and her. You don't know shit, I told her. I've never so much as laid a finger on that girl. Don't imagine I didn't think about it, though. Do you know what kept me from ever doing anything about it? I was married to you. I loved you with every fiber of my being, and the thought of betraying you, hurting you, kept me from ever starting a relationship, let alone having sex with anyone else. I've never been with any other woman sexually or any other way in all the time since I was exclusive with you. This is all on you. I don't believe you, she said. I do, Olivia said. It's you I don't believe. Of course, Daddy's little angel, Cindy shouted. You've always hated me and taken his side. You're just lashing out at everyone around you because you screwed up, Olivia said. Now you say you're apologizing. For what? For getting caught? What's the matter? Did old Needledick not turn out to be such a great deal after all? You have no idea what you're talking about, Cindy yelled. Sure I do, Olivia chuckled. I've seen the video. It's pathetic, Mom. That's what you threw Daddy away for. I didn't throw anything away, she started crying. I never intended for any of this to happen. I don't want a divorce. I love you, Eric. Can't you see that? No, I said. I just see a supremely selfish woman who has to get her needs met, no matter the damage she does to anyone else. Are we done here? No, Cindy sobbed. What do I have to do to fix this? I'll do anything you want me to. Please don't divorce me. I don't think these eggs can be unscrambled, Olivia spoke up. I'll let Daddy speak for himself, though. Eric? She looked at me with pleading eyes. Okay, don't sneak around behind my back. Don't date other men. Don't lie to me, and don't suck other men's tools. Oh wait, you already did all of that. The train has left the station. Cindy, we had some happy years. I'm not out to burn your house down. I'm willing to give you half of everything. Half of everything except Olivia, thank God she's an adult. I'm keeping her. I don't want half of anything. I just want you, Eric. She turned and went up the stairs, looking like a zombie. I felt bad for her until I remembered Pierce's prick in her mouth. 3 days later, the divorce was final, and Olivia and I moved into our new place. We found a nice 3-bedroom condo close to the hospital where she worked and not too far from my work either. We went furniture shopping and finally got the place looking like home. I put the house on the market, and Cindy came unglued. When I came out from work, she was leaning against my truck. What do you want, Cindy? Where am I supposed to live? Don't you think this has gone on long enough, Eric? How long are you going to stay mad at me? Can't we just move on before it's too late? You're actually going to sell the house? Or is this just to teach me a lesson? If it's a lesson, I've got it. Okay? Now just stop this and come home. I understand now. I made a mistake. Can't you just forgive me? I forgive you, I said. Now could you get off my door so I can go home? She moved away to her car and I went home. Not the old home, but the new one. I had been there about an hour when my phone rang. It was Jack. Eric, we have a meeting at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is the one we were supposed to have a while back. We hit some snags, but it's all on now. It's important and I want you to be on your game. Allison has told me about what's going on in your life. I want to know that you've got a handle on that. I told him that I was fine and that I'd be ready. I really was fine. I surprised myself as I reflected on things. I guess I realized that this was nearly inevitable. The surprising thing was that it had lasted as long as it did. There was something seriously messed up with Cindy's moral compass. It had always been like that. The only thing that had kept her pointed in the right direction was her fear of losing me. I had made such an impression on her with the George Cooper thing that she hadn't forgotten it for 27 years. Her idea that her needs needed to be fulfilled had finally overcome her fear, and she had acted on it. I had wasted a lot of time. I was 46 years old and needed to start planning the rest of my life. I called Allison to see if she wanted to hang out, but she was on a date. I then called Samantha and asked her and Cecilia to dinner. They were available, so I made reservations at Guido's, a nice Italian place I had been to before. It was a little pricey, but the tetrazzini was second to none. I got the car out to take them. I didn't want to pull up in a truck at a nice restaurant. They drove to my place, and I let them in when they rang the doorbell. They were curious about the new place, and I gave them a glass of wine and showed them the grand tour. When we were ready, I took them out to the garage. Cecilia started jumping up and down. "Oh my God!" she shrieked. "What is it, Cecilia?" I looked around for a spider or something. "That car. I love it. What is it?" "It's a 1951 Mercury," I said. "You want to drive it?" "Hell yes," she exclaimed. "Please don't tell me it's one of those lame 302s. "No, I don't care for that engine much," I told her. "They put them in the Mustangs, but they break in half over 500 horsepower. This is a Windsor 351. It's a stroker, and it's a 408, making about 540 horsepower and 575 foot-pounds of torque. Tell me you're a gearhead," she said, snatching the keys out of my hand. She took a minute to figure out that there were no door handles, but she hit the remote, and the doors popped open. We jumped in, and she fired it up. The rumble filled the garage, and she was like a kid in a candy store. Her eyes were flashing, and all that hair flew around. She was adorable. She saw the nitrous switch and squealed. "I've got to try that." She could hardly wait. She backed out and smoked the tires heading down the street. Samantha screeched, and I buckled her seatbelt and put mine on. "Terrified, Eric?" Cecilia laughed nervously. "Terrified," I told her. She was really a very good driver. She stayed in the fast lane and cruised about 6 or 7 miles per hour over the speed limit. We hit an empty patch of interstate, and she looked at me and raised one eyebrow. I looked back at Samantha, and she was grinning like the Cheshire Cat. "Hang on," I told her. Cecilia punched it, and we were pinned back in our seats. She hit the switch, and the nitrous kicked in. We were flying when she killed the switch and coasted back down. Her teeth were flashing, and she was just vibrant with excitement. "Thank you, Eric." She flashed me a look. "I've always dreamed I'd get to do that. Anything to make my girl happy," I said. She shot me another look that made my clothes smoke. We had a great dinner, and I kissed them both goodbye and put them in Cecilia's car. Samantha hugged me and whispered in my ear, "She likes you, Eric. Be good to her." I winked at her and she got in. I went around and asked Cecilia if she would go to the lake with me on Saturday. She was a little hesitant but agreed, and I set a time to pick her up. Olivia pulled up just then and said hi. Something seemed a little odd, but they just talked for a minute. She held my arm, and we waved as they drove away. "She's the cutest thing I've ever seen," Olivia confided. "The age thing worries me a little, Dad." "I'm still in good shape," I told her. "Yeah, but she's got a broken arm." She looked at me impishly. I burst out laughing. "I think Samantha is too much woman for me." I gave Olivia a squeeze. "God, I love you, baby," I told her. "Me too," she said. We went in and she told me about her date. We talked a bit and went to bed. I was totally unprepared for the meeting the next morning. I don't know how you get ready for something like that. When I got there, a Nordic-looking gentleman was sitting in the office. There were 3 men who looked like lawyer types, our company attorney, Jack, and Allison, all looking very serious. Jack introduced me, and the Nordic guy's name was something unpronounceable. "Eric, we're selling the business," Jack told me. "I'm ready to retire. Allison doesn't want the company, but she wants to work. The only way I would agree to sell, and the only condition they have for buying, is that you become president of the company and regional VP of the parent company. I've got the package laid out for you to take a look at. I think you're going to like it. He handed me a file. I didn't look at it. What about Ally? I asked. She'll move into your old job, she said, smiling happily at me. I'll promote my assistant and get a big compensation package myself. Thanks for thinking about me, Eric. I squeezed her arm. Okay, I'll take a look, I said. When do I need to decide? You have 2 weeks, she replied. I took Allison out to dinner that night. She wanted to go dancing afterward, and we were having a wonderful time. We had just sat down after a hot number when I saw Allison's eyes narrow. She was looking over my shoulder. I turned to look, and it was Cindy and Pierce. She was dragging him by the hand, and it was evident he wanted no part of it. Cindy popped down in the booth across from us and pulled him down beside her. Allison nodded. Cindy Needle-Dick. How lovely to see you. Cindy went livid. Allison, I hardly think you're in any position to be calling anyone names. I know your life. It sure didn't take you long to move in on my husband. Did it? I believe we got a divorce, Cindy, I said. That would make me not your husband. That may have slipped your mind. I don't date married men, Allison said. I wonder if you can say the same about Needle-Dick here. Is he divorced? I know his wife filed, but I hadn't heard it had come through. Yes. And we all know who's responsible for his wife kicking him out and not letting him see his children. Cindy snapped. Did you really have to send her that video, Eric? You destroyed a good man's marriage. I think you also had something to do with getting us both fired too. I hope you're happy with yourself. Well, I almost think I am, I told her. I'm no longer married to a cheating whore. The bag that destroyed 2 marriages is in a world of hurt, and I think it's actually you who are responsible for everything that happened to you. I hear the state is going to revoke his license. Something about not being in the emergency room when an emergency came in. I hope your needs are being met. Emotions doing okay now. It's been wonderful, Cindy said. But I think you should take that witch and go. Olivia hasn't spoken to me since you moved out. Did you have to poison her against me? That's all on you. I haven't said one bad word about you. The thing is, we don't talk about you at all, Cindy. You hurt us, but we're moving on. Give her a call if you want to talk to her. She doesn't take my calls. Cindy snarled. She has me blocked. This is my problem now? Maybe she's meeting her needs. It's time for you to go. I didn't invite you to sit down, and I'm about to see if Dickno's nose is healed. He fled unceremoniously, and Cindy stormed off in a huff. I just didn't give a damn as long as she left. I stood up and pulled Allison up for another dance. The song changed to a slow number, and she molded herself against me. I'm sorry, Eric, she said into my shoulder. Not your fault, babe. I stroked her glorious hair. I'm sorry she spoiled the celebration. She looked up at me, and those amber-colored eyes were full of emotion. Who says it's spoiled? She asked. I looked down at this vision in my arms. I remembered that 15-year-old girl in white stockings and a school uniform sliding onto my desk, flashing me a glimpse of white lace panties and all the cleavage she had. The girl in my arms wasn't 15. Her hair was a reddish blonde, and it matched those eyes. She had a deep tan, and there was a sprinkling of freckles on her nose and down her neck, disappearing into the valley between spectacular breasts. Her high cheekbones and full, puffy lips, along with that cute little nose, just made her irresistible to every man who saw her. I was a man, and I had to taste those lips. They were incredibly soft and full, tasting like the margarita she had been drinking. There was a faint hint of salt and lime, and she smelled delicious. We kissed for a long time, just swinging to the music, and I felt a stirring as my Johnson started to rise. She felt it too and pushed against me. I wasn't kidding when I told you I've loved you since I was 15, she said as she broke the kiss. I never thought I'd have a chance. I love you too, I said. You're my best friend. You wouldn't even go to dinner with me unless it was business. She laughed. Yeah, well, I didn't trust myself with you. Didn't trust you either, for that matter, I said. I know you, Allison. You would eat me up and spit up the bones. You're so wrong, she said. I've been looking for someone like you all my life. You just set the bar so high that I could never find that guy. I would never hurt you, Eric. I think you built this image of me up in your mind that doesn't match reality. I'm 10 years older than you, I told her. Although you look like you're in your early 20s. I'm careless, kind of a hard ass, and I'm a little broken. Yes, I know all about that, she said. I've been working with you for years. Sometimes you piss me off. You're stubborn as hell when you think you're right, but you die for the people you love. You have no idea how appealing you are to me. You're still a little boy at heart. Eric, you've had to grow up a lot lately. You don't seem to mind the age thing with Cecilia. I looked at her sharply, and she burst out laughing. Your daughter is my best friend, she said. Her eyes flashed, and she pulled me down for another kiss. That lush body against mine drove me wild. Take me home, Eric, she said. We pulled out onto the street and stopped at the light. She leaned over toward me, and we kissed, just tasting each other and exploring. God, those eyes. Who has amber eyes? I pulled her tightly against me. Take me home and make love to me, Eric, she said. No strings, just two people who love each other. If it turns into something else, I'm good with that too. Are you sure, kitten? I asked. God, yes, she said. I've waited years for this chance. She pulled me inside and into the elevator. There was a camera in there, but she pushed me into a corner away from it and dry humped me all the way to her floor. Soon we reached her place and ended up in her bed. We made love, and I rolled off, pulling her half over me with her cheek resting on my chest while I stroked the silk of her back. We rested together as our breathing slowed, and I think we drifted into sleep for a few minutes. I felt her stir, and when I opened my eyes, her amber orbs were blazing into mine, our noses nearly touching. Eric, do you remember when I told you no strings attached? She asked. Yes, kitten, I remember, I said. I lied, she whispered. I'm going to put every string I have on you. I'm going to find ropes, straps, and zip ties and try my dead level best to keep you. I'll have babies with you. I'll do anything to keep you. I'm in love with you, Eric. I always have been. I know you like Cecilia. All I'm asking for is a chance. I want to be on your list. I know it's too soon, but if you let me, I'll make you so deliriously happy you'll forget you were ever married to that cheating whore. I silenced her with a kiss. I love you, ally. I always have. You were like something that you see way off in the distance. You think it's amazing and beautiful and you wish it was yours, but you know it never can be, so you just push the dream away. Are you sure about this, kitten? You've never seemed like the having babies type. God, you're like this amazing jungle cat you admire behind the fence, but you know it would rip you to shreds if you ever got close. She started to cry. I was shocked. I'd never seen her cry in all the years I'd known her. I know that's the way I seem, she choked out. I had to be that way. The one man I ever wanted was the one I couldn't have. I could be anything for you. I could be that jungle cat, but you'll never see my claws. You'll just see love, trust, and loyalty. I'll be your jungle cat. I swear. Eric, if you give me a chance, you'll never regret it. I believe you, baby, I told her. I've never seen you hurt anyone you love. I do trust you. Let's go slow and see what happens. Okay? Will you go out with me? Like on dates? She asked. I've forgotten how this is supposed to go. I never thought I'd need to know again. I know, she whispered. Don't worry. I'll take good care of you. I have an out-of-town meeting tomorrow afternoon, but I'm available, really available, as soon as I get back. We showered together, and I dashed off home to change clothes. Olivia came in as I was dashing off and gave me a look. Daddy, I need to talk to you this evening, she said. Okay, baby. I gave her a peck on the cheek. I grabbed my bag, said goodbye, and hit the road. Work was pretty hectic, and I left at 4:30. I was worn out and looking forward to a quick nap. Olivia was just getting home when I came in, and she went off to change out of her scrubs. The doorbell rang, and when I opened it, Cecilia was standing there. She breathed in and gave me a hug and a peck on the cheek. Want something to drink? I asked her. She wanted a beer, so I got one for both of us. We sat on the sofa, and she cuddled up to me. Eric, I want to talk to you about something, she said. Oh, I thought to myself, life is getting complicated. I looked down at her. There was no doubt that she was as cute as a month-old kitten. The thing was, she was younger than Olivia. I liked being around her, hell, I liked everything about her, but I saw insurmountable difficulties, even if I left Allison out of the equation. I waited for her to speak. I don't know how to tell you this, she finally said. I'm very grateful for what you did for Grandma, and you've been so kind to us ever since. I know you like me, Eric. I know what I look like, and most guys think I'm cute. You're a very nice-looking man. When we met, I felt something there, and I'm attracted to you. I just don't think we could work long-term, and I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to hurt you either. I gave her a squeeze. I know, I said. It's flattering as hell that you even think about me like that. I do want to be your friend. I want us to be pals for the rest of my life. The thing is, there's an amazing woman in my life. Well, there are 3 of them, but there's only one I really want to be with like that. She stretched up and kissed my cheek. I'm very happy about that, she said. That makes it a lot easier. I think I'm going to be in your life for a long time, Eric. I've kind of got someone too. Anyone I know? I asked. Kind of. Olivia spoke from the doorway. Daddy, would you mind if I went to the lake with you and Cecilia on Saturday? I must have looked like a total fool. My eyes shifted back and forth between them, and Olivia burst out laughing. She came and cuddled up against me on the other side. I didn't know you girls rolled like that, I joked. They both thought that was hilarious. We both like men too, Cecilia said. It was just kind of love at first sight when we met at the hospital. Olivia called me and asked me out. We've had 2 dates, and I think I found the other half of my soul with her. She feels the same way about me. Do you hate it, Eric? I pulled them both into a big hug. Not at all, I assured them. 2 girls I love each other? What's to hate? I'm very happy for both of you. Now I get to have 2 gorgeous girls with me at the lake on Saturday. I'm pretty sure there are going to be 3, Olivia said. I invited Allison. I'm ruled by domineering women, I lamented. Yes, isn't it wonderful? My daughter said. You're going to be very happy. Allison came home, and I spent Thursday and Friday nights with her. I was a walking zombie at work, but Olivia was right. I was very happy, ecstatic as a matter of fact. When I was home, Olivia and Cecilia spoiled me rotten, and when I was with Allison, she tried to seduce me constantly. There was a bit of a snag in the garden because Cindy kept intruding in our lives. She called me 3 times a week and bugged the hell out of Olivia. They finally got together, and I don't know what Olivia said or did, but Cindy stopped calling. Olivia said Cindy had moved to Oklahoma City and was working in a private practice. I didn't care as long as she stayed there. Took about 3 months, but Allison kept the pressure on until I relented and moved in with her. She was my dream girl. I took her, Olivia, and Cecilia out to eat on a Friday about 8 months later. I had made up my mind and had a little something planned. After dinner, I gave the waiter a signal, and he went into the kitchen. He came back with 4 pieces of cake, saving Allison's until last. It had a little figurine of a swan on top, holding a ribbon in its beak, and there was a ring tied to the ribbon. The diamonds were a bit inconspicuous, surrounded by 3 of them with a big square emerald in the center. She put her hand over her mouth and looked at me, those amber eyes wet and glistening. "Allison, will you marry me?" I asked. "Oh my God, yes." She practically jumped into my lap. She gave me a kiss that nearly set my ears on fire. There were squeals and kisses all around, and they dragged me off to a club. I felt like the king of the world. 3 gorgeous women escorted me to a booth, and every eye in the place was on us. I knew the rest of my life was going to be the best part. I was playing golf on Monday with Jack. I had actually beaten him on the previous hole, and I teed off first. It was a beauty with a little power draw, and I was about 60 yards from the pin. "Nice shot," Jack said, stunned. "Christ, Eric, I'm gonna have to up my game or start bribing Ally to wear you out." I chuckled. "I'm just like a fine wine, Jack. I get better the older I get." He hooked his tee shot into the trees. "I think you can kiss that birdie goodbye," I taunted him. "Yeah," he smiled. "I think you've got all the luck." Thank you for your viewing. See you next time. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to JK Tells a Story for more tales.